I think a large part of farming has been lost. Farmers of old enjoyed that relationship that they had with the environment, with the animals. And this bike, this system, the way that we're farming allows us, extends us the privilege of getting back into that relationship.
What about a cup of tea?
I've been here all my life. It's a property that the family bought in 1963. What we're looking to do is mimic nature.
We're raising beef on an organic property. We've got a Techno system in place, which means trying to minimise the impact on the environment through high density grazing, also sequestering carbon through the long recovery periods.
So the outcome of this approach at one level is to provide the best life we can for the cattle. A large part of the reason that we can do that, or we're looking to do that, is because we're aware of the soil biome. What we're seeing is an explosion, if you like, in the diversity of our plants. The cliche that we stand on the roof of another kingdom, I think, encapsulates what we're doing, what we're thinking, and the way that we try to farm. It's interesting when you look at a conventionally farmed system, it tends to have a monoculture, and that's looked at, and I do the same. I look at that sward and I think, beautiful. And yet we then turn around and we drive past a true wilderness area, a national park or something like that, and we see the diversity in that and all sorts of things happening, and we can see the beauty in that. I question whether for us to be getting our food from an environment that is perhaps more sterile is the right thing for us to be doing in the longer term.
So the Techno systems, all our paddocks are divided into 0.1 of a hectare with either steel wires or poly wires, so yeah, no gates to open, always just driving over the wires.
What that's done is it allowed us to do that from a two-wheel bike position, and the UBCO product fits that very well. To look at the innovation that was shown was invigorating, exciting. It was a journey that perhaps we were sort of on as well. With no gates on the property, what we find is that you're not shy of going out and just checking on some animals, shifting some animals when they need to be shifted as opposed to when you actually feel like shifting them.
When you're driving behind cows, you're not constantly on your clutch or it's not overheating or anything. You're just quietly cruising along with the animal's pace.
So we have shifted the throttle from the right-hand side to the left-hand side. What that did was free up our right hand for lifting the wire for any work that we need to be doing. We have put a frame, a skirt if you like, on the bike that holds the wire down as we ride over it.
So quiet, and you just fit in with nature and the cows. Like, you create minimal disturbance. And
the animals appreciate the fact that your relationship with them is not one based upon fear.
Being able to have an animal that you've raised and you can draw back to where it was from, what its history was like, it's a huge part of being a farmer.
At the end of the day, meat has come from an animal that has died. And so how has that animal lived, I think, is the question that I'd like to see consumers asking. The reverence for meat, it's not just a bit of product that turns up in a package. It was an animal, and therefore everything around it needs to hold a degree of reverence as well. So, we've just got to build that back in. If it is that you're aware of the fact that it was, a nice little lamb that was born, and you have a degree of connection with the way that it was raised. Everything's connected, and so that's the problem, I think, for mankind, is we just like to sterilise or separate ourselves from things that we don't like to see, whereas we need to go the other way and actually really engage. Look at the product, home kill. So cattle be standing out in the middle of the paddock, mouthful of grass, bang, lights go out, doesn't feel anything, no knowledge, no fear or anything. That meat is the best meat you can get. It's just beautiful. That animal you've extended to it, a pretty good life. How do you make that connection? How do you say, well, look, this is what we need to do in order to do the best by that animal, and how do we build things from there? I guess that's one of the frustrations that we have here, is we are so far removed from our consumers. They aren't able to see and understand and appreciate what it is, or our reverence for those animals. I'd love to be able to shorten that connection, so they're aware of the respect that we have for our animals and our environment.
Being able to see people connecting over a piece of meat and knowing that you're the one that raised it, it's a huge privilege. At the moment, I think we are starting to go through change in farming. There's a lot of people out there thinking about the environment.
To be honest, I think I've been very privileged to have the opportunity to do what I've done. I think we'd all love to look around the next corner to explore, and the trouble is that so often our businesses don't allow us to do that. I think part of that really led us to the UBCO story. Where do we see the future with UBCO? I think it's exciting. We've got a lot of what we think we would like in a bike, but I'm very excited as to where they're going to go next and what they're going to do next.